we should just start with a question on your new captain. What you expect he'll bring to the group, and I guess the transition, will it be much of a disruption?
Yeah, he'll bring to the group what he always brings to the group: his energy and his enthusiasm, his love of the game, his enjoyment of the contest. Dane's been in our leadership group from the time I've arrived, and I suspect he was in the leadership group prior to my arrival, so he's had plenty of experience working with leadership groups. And to be honest, he shouldered a bit of the responsibility in the first half of this year as Beamsy's tried to sort of recover from the events of the summer. So he's ready to step up, and I think the transition will be really smooth.
Must be very proud. You've talked a lot about culture, and it's an incredible example of it this week with the way that the club's handled all of this process, and you must be very proud of that and the example that you've shown and the way in which this has been handled this week. Yeah,
we've got, our philosophy is to be really open and honest about what happens in our footy club, and we've chosen to do that this week, and Beamsy's been fantastic in that regard, and very selfless in his decision, and I think the message he sent out to the general public has resonated with not just the football fraternity but the community in general. For those people that might just be not feeling all that happy or a bit sadder than usual at the moment, they can hear that and take a bit of hope from it. So but been proud of our club from the time I arrived, really, and as I said, things happen in life, and what your footy club's got to be able to do is take them in their stride and deal with them in a really humane way, which I think is what we've done.
Did you get the feeling when the final siren sounded, it was clearly the best decision for him, because he looked like he'd played the best game of the year, and he just looked different?
Yeah, that's probably fair to say. He's had some really good games, and he's had a couple of quiet games, and I'm not sure whether that'll continue or not, but he did seem lighter, and it's because it's a big responsibility being the captain, and you've got to think about a lot of things and help a lot of people, and the offer to Beamsy to step away from the captaincy was made by me a fair while ago, and not with any pressure whatsoever, but he was always of the understanding that if he felt at some point in time it was going to help his recovery from all the events of the last 3 or 4 months, that he only had to come and say the word, and that would be the case. So he exercised his right to do that the other day, and the decision's been made.
I think it was actually Hamo that pointed out in his article that it's a great example of what he was as a captain and why he was a great choice as a captain.
Yeah, the fact that he's willing enough to be honest about what's going on and step aside in a really selfless manner, absolutely. And I can't wait for the day where he walks into my office and goes, "I think I'm ready to go again, Coach." So we look forward to that as well.
You've obviously pointed out how much extra responsibility there is in being a captain. Have you had to give any messages to Zorko or remind him of anything extra that he'll have to undertake?
No, he's a bright, bubbly personality that loves engaging with people, so he'll do this quite naturally.
They've had between the two of them, they've had a real impact in, I suppose, bringing a group together. That there may have been a bit of a disconnect between some of the older players and the younger players when you arrived, and between yourself and Nobes and probably those two. You've really been able to bring them together. They're incredibly important to this club, what they've been able to do.
Their leadership's been fantastic in that regard. The support that Nobes and I feel from them, they deliver our message and live out our message in and amongst the playing group, and I couldn't speak more highly of the two of them. They understand that what they're doing is they're trying to leave a legacy for the Lions Footy Club. I'm not sure whether, when we do become successful, whether those boys will still be around. I'm hopeful that they will be. I hope it's going to happen sooner or later and they get to enjoy some of it. But they very selflessly understand that what they're doing now is to make the club great going forward.
Fags, just on another note, we had our first Rising Star nomination for the year in Alex Witherden. How did you react with that news?
Oh yeah, footy's not all about individual awards and things like that, but I was really pleased for Alex. He's statistically, what he's doing as a young bloke who's barely played 20 games is quite amazing, and so it's good that that's been recognised and that's out of the way, and that he's in the running for that award.
You haven't had to cope with a win, obviously, yet this season. Have you had to treat the playing group any differently this week, or remind them of anything different about backing up from that? And
No, not really. I mean, we've only got a 6-day turnaround and we're playing the Swans. So, you know, when you play the Swans, you've got to bring your best competitive effort, because that's why they're a great club, because they play that way every week, week in and week out. So I think it's good that we're playing them and that we've been able to have that discussion about them. We did that on Monday, so it wasn't too much time to enjoy the win, take a bit of confidence from it, but let's try and show that we've grown even further as a team by showing that we're able to back up with a really strong performance this week.
The red and white socks, you're trying to get into their psyche a little?
No, I think that's Ronald McDonald House or something. Oh, I didn't know about that. I walked out the day and I said, whose idea was that? Are we going to wear the opposition socks, you know, every week? But no, it's a charity thing for Ronald McDonald House, and you know, hopefully when the Sydney Swans boys have a look at this press conference, or you making a mention of it, they realise that we're not being disrespectful to them.
Just on the Rising Star nominee, who will you be telling the committee to anoint next?
No, that was a bit devious by me. I shouldn't have said it, probably. No, I won't be doing that again.
It was great.
Does it? Yeah.
Chris, sorry, on another topic close to your heart. You're on the steering committee, the AFL steering committee. There's a lot of talk about the future of football in Tasmania. What sort of insights have you had, and what sort of hope do you have that you know, solutions can be found to the problems down there?
Yeah, I can't talk a lot about it because what we talk about is pretty much in-house, but I can say the mood of that committee is very much on trying to help Tassie footy go forward, and I'm really confident that it will. That there'll be a lot more resource and time and care and effort go into football in that state, and so it should, because they're one of the founding states of the game. They've produced a lot of fantastic AFL footballers, and you know, I know the people in Tassie, they crave and they get really proud of the fact when they do produce AFL players, and they haven't been able to do a lot of that lately. And you know, hopefully with the measures that eventually are put in place, that enables that to occur on a bit more regular basis.
So is it steered at improving grassroots, or is it talking about AFL permanent presence in that state, or is it both?
It's the spectrum, and from community football all the way through to the aspirations of at some point in time Tasmania having an AFL team. So no, all areas, the talent pathway, community football has all been covered off, and that's why we're taking such a long time to come up with the findings and the solutions.
Just one more from us, Fags. We welcomed a new player this week in Tom Fullerton. He starts on June 1. What are you hoping he'll bring to the team?
Yeah, well, he's only just going to start training, but the exciting part about Tom is that he's a fantastic basketballer, but he was also a really good footballer before he sort of channeled his energies into basketball. So he's not like some of the other guys that come from alternative sports that they haven't played a lot of footy. This guy actually has. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do once he gets into some sort of football fitness, and he probably won't see him play maybe for 6 weeks or so, but we'll give him a good conditioning phase, and you know, hopefully he can come in and add to what is already a pretty talented group of tall key position players. Someone
like Archie can probably give him a lot of guidance, considering he made the switch from basketball pretty seamlessly. Oh, absolutely, there's no doubt about that, and I'm pretty sure, knowing Archie, that he'll be the first one to step up and do that. Particularly given that Tom's not really a ruckman, he's a key position player, so he's not going to stop Archie from getting the game. So,
where did his footy come from?
I think he played up on the Sunshine Coast. Is his background. But the thing about him is he's been playing sport at a pretty elite level, so he understands all the preparation, mental side of high level sport. So. Yeah, very excited to have him.
Just one more quick one. You must have been really pleased. We spoke a couple of weeks ago about making the most opportunities and efficiency going inside forward 50 and pressure inside 50, and you said that's an area we're going to improve. That's improved drastically in a couple of weeks. You must be really pleased with that. And what's the next box that you're going to as far as game style?
Oh no, we've made had a couple of breakthroughs with a few things in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So we'll stick with that for a while and master that. I mean, our pressure's still nowhere near as good as it could be. It's way, way better, but we want to take that to another level. The way that we use the ball to our forwards and their connection, we want to keep working on that. And it's going to get a pretty stern test tomorrow, because the Swans are a very good one-on-one team. It's not easy to get your ball flow going against them. So, yeah, another test tomorrow, but that's sort of where we're at the moment.